Every week, my wife and I return to our house in Warwick. It's about 90 miles. The journey is pretty simple, and most of it is on the M40. And the signposts tell us how far away Warwick is. Warwick 56, Warwick 36, Warwick 10. And so they're very helpful in letting us know when we're getting nearer to our destination. But the signposts are not, of course, more important than where we're going to. Each signpost is a sign of something beyond itself. In this case, a house, a garden, and a home. Why am I starting here? Because our gospel reading this morning started with a sign, the feeding of the 5,000, which had just gone before it. The sign and the feeding were real enough. People were tired and hungry. They'd been listening to Jesus all day, and they wanted something to eat. And Jesus produced bread and fish for all of them. But as Jesus says, rather sharply, the miracle pointed to something beyond itself. It wasn't just a free supper for a vast crowd rustled up out of impossibly slender resources. It was a sharing in the life of God which Jesus gives. What it signified was much more important than what it was. It was a sharing in the life of God which Jesus gives. Today, we're thrilled to be receiving a number of candidates for baptism, and it's a delight to see you here. It really is. Et soyez les bienvenus de la France aussi. Baptism is a sign. It's one of the two signs or sacraments of the Church of England. It's the means of entry into the Christian church, into fellowship with Jesus and with other Christians. It's very important in itself, as we will hear in a few moments when Jonathan performed the baptism. But it is also a sign of something beyond itself, namely, the life of God in the newly baptized person, sharing in the life of God which Jesus gives. And these baptisms take place within the service of Holy Communion, the Eucharist. The Holy Communion is also a sign with a meaning beyond itself. Of course, it's a way of fellowship and of hospitality, but it's also a sign of something beyond itself. We will look at the bread and the wine on the altar, and we will say, here is the death and resurrection of Jesus. Here is our sharing in the life of God which Jesus gives. And this sharing in the life of God which Jesus gives is to be lived out by us in humility and gentleness, as the letter to the Ephesians urged. And why? So that we in our turn may be signs of the living God whose life we share. Amen.